Yo, what is up, homies? It is 5:30 and I have not had lunch, so we are going to make this short and sweet. Today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and we're going to have a quick look at how I made the lead synth for Yeah the Boys.
Yeah, the boys.
So it is actually a combination of 3 synths. I'm going to show you how to make the main one right here. So this is the guy. Got another one as well, so that, as you can hear, that one was really heavy on the sides. It's actually inspired by Dimitri Vegas, Like Mike, Martin Garrix's Tremor. Because I love that synth. It is so dirty and fat and beautiful. This is the other one. And as you can see, this one takes more of the mid frequencies. I've done a bit of mid-side stuff on it. Scooped out some of the stereo stuff there in the middle to make it really sit in the middle. And then finally over here we've got this one, which is inspired by Wizard Martin Garrix. If you can't tell, kind of like Martin Garrix. There's got to be a bit of EQ on there, nothing special. Then obviously these are all in one big fat bus where I've done all my processing over here, which I'll take you guys through later. Alright, so let's get into it. What we're going to do is we're going to try and actually make this synth right here, the Tremor one, from scratch. So now we're going to jump into Silent One. I've got an initial preset right here. Let's initialize this bitch to make sure we are starting from complete scratch. Basic bitch saw wave, everyone's favorite lead. Alright, so first things first, we're going to turn that shit an octave down. And we want 4 voices on that one. Jump over here. Gonna give it a bit of noise to give that edge. That's what really makes it nice and crisp and fat and loud. 8 voices. That's exactly what we want. Now, contrary to most leads where we have sustain all the way up here, we actually want the decay all the way up and sustain all the way down. So it sort of decays over time really, really, really slowly. Alright, so then jump over here to our filter. We actually want to modulate A and B with this one filter here. Change that to high pass. 24, that's good. Cut off, just turn it down a notch. I've got my notes over here to make sure I don't miss anything for you guys. So you can start making fat sounding Yeah the Boys leads very, very soon. And of course, you want to give it lots of drive like that. So we sort of have very good. All right, let's jump over oscillator B, part B, should I say. Turn that down an octave as well. Saw wave, and we want 8 voices. Very good. Same thing with amp over here, decay all the way up. We want to turn retrig off for both of these guys. And obviously we want to give it some fat detune. I'm not sure if I detuned it in the first part. No, I didn't. There it is, detune. Alright, now part B, detune. A little bit more, so stick that up there. Everything else just leave the way it is. Perfect. Actually, you do want to give it a little bit release in the volume envelopes, just like that. Okay, now over here, another saw wave, because we love saw waves. Martin Garrix loves saw waves. And they're really fat and beautiful. Every EDM producer loves saw waves. Alright, volume down, detune as well, lots of detune for that max fat sound. And we actually just want to turn the stereo down a little bit on these ones, so we have some mid component to our synth as well. Yeah, jump over to the filter, band pass, 12 dB, lots of drive, because we love drive. Turn the cutoff down a little bit, probably like right about there, and just give it a little bit of resonance. Like that. Beautiful. Now, main filter down here. We got cutoff. Alright, so we're going to turn cutoff a little bit down, resonance up a little bit, give it some warm drive, and you really want it to sound nice and fat, so we're going to turn up that key track. Let's go over here quickly to the effects section. We want lots of distortion because, let's face it, you're not an EDM producer unless you use a shit ton of distortion. Fat. Alright. Chorus, we want to widen the sound a little bit. So we're going to put on some chorus, turn that delay down just a touch, turn that rate down, I don't know, around about 0.4 hertz, something like that. Depth, leave where it is. Feedback, we want to put around about 3/4 of the way up, 2/3 of the way up. And width all the way, dry wet, just turn it down a touch. And that's looking pretty good. That's pretty much what we want. EQ, 2-pole. Bass, not quite as loud. This is all really subtle, but it's really effective because every little teeny tweak counts in making a really kick-ass sound. So down here to the delay. Usually I don't add delay and reverb on synths within the plugin. I do that externally because otherwise it just gets messy. But in this case, it's actually just a really, really tiny delay. So turn delay time all the way down to 1/64th of a note. So it's really small. It's basically almost the same as just a really tiny reverb. Just a little bit of snare, some nice spread. And everything else is the same. Just turn that dry wet down a little bit. You can really hear the difference a little bit there. The delay just gives a little bit of room in our sound. You can almost hear it phasing, which is really what makes that fat kind of sound. And then finally, we've got a bit of compression down here as well. Turn that ratio back a bit. Threshold down. And attack all the way up. Not all the way up, just halfway up. Release kind of like that. You want them both around, 100, 80, 90, something like that. Alright, that's sounding better. Now, we go down to our secret sauce down here in the filter envelope. So we got the modulator, the LFOs. First things first, pitch AB. Where you at? There you go. So what we want to do is we actually want to pitch it up just a little bit with every note. Usually, most lead synths, they like to take the cutoff down with time and pitch it down with time. This one we're actually doing the opposite. So we're taking the cutoff A and B and the pitch A and B, and we're actually opening them up the longer you play the note. Pitch just a little bit, cut off a little bit more. So it's like this. You can really hear it if I crank them both up. It's just like pingers. So it's just like that, but on a way less noticeable level. And that just gives that initial hit a bit of a nice little twist, a bit of a nice little pitch bend, which kind of creates that whip that you hear in the sound, which is really what I'm going after. And we're actually going to do the same again here with these LFOs. So the pitch, we want the gain all the way down. We want the rate about halfway up for both of these guys. And everything else stays the same like that. And we just turn these down a little bit. Say if I turn, I want the gain a little bit higher on this one. Actually, all the way up on this one. Notice if I do this, right? Take them all the way down. You can kind of hear what it's doing, but on a way more subtle level. We have the helicopter taking off. Classic EDM sound. We just want a really subtle version of that, right? And it just creates this really cool pitching whip kind of effect on the first little bit of the note. So that's pretty much it. And we just jump over here, turn the legato about halfway up, turn it on S, and then we go. So that's everything that's in the actual synth. I'll just crank the volume up because, let's be real, if you're not redlining, you ain't headlining. Not that much though. Alright, there we go. So now I'm going to show you my super hectic effect chain, and you guys can see what I've done to this synth we just made to make it super awesome. So if we play it back right now, it'll sound, let me turn it all on, it'll sound a little bit like this. I know what you're probably thinking, sounds a little bit different, hey? Correct. So we're going to take this all off and I'll show you what I've done. If Logic wants to work, that'd be totally sick. Moment of silence for Logic. Okay, here we go. So first thing first. This is our initial sound, right? That we just made in silence. Turn the gain on. It's not actually doing anything. I just always put a gain first so I can automate the volume of each synth if I need to. Because later on when I'm mixing, I hate having to go back, change the automation. It drives me freaking insane. So I just automate the gain instead so I don't have that problem later on. Next thing. Put a channel EQ on there just to cut off some of the low end so it doesn't interfere with the bass. Obviously, pretty standard. Compressor. Turn this guy on just to get a more consistent volume and enhance the attack a little bit there. As you can see, I've got a really short attack time. Second compressor, sidechained to the kick, just to get, that pumping groove feeling that we all know and love in our EDM bangers. Now, we got another EQ here, and you can see it's set to side only. So we want to cut off all the side signal below, set it here to be 230 Hertz. Just so we don't have any mud, any interference on the side. You'll notice the difference if you're wearing headphones or good speakers. That's essential just to stop the mix from getting muddied up and disgusting. Now, my favorite, my secret sauce. Super fat. Because fat leads are better than skinny leads, let's be honest here. More distortion, just a bit of tube warmth, get some analog grit style stuff in there. Kickstart because, why not? I've already sidechained it to the kick, but I still want it to have a pumping type groove even when the kick's not playing, which is why you notice I only had it on 25% there, so it's still pretty subtle. Final EQ, this one's in stereo again. The distortion and compressor and sausage fattener and all that, for whatever reason, introduce some low end that you can see there. I just want to cut that out. And then final gain, because why not? Gains are fun. Okay. No, this is for more automation stuff. And so that's literally it. Oh, obviously, and we have a reverb over here because we love reverb. And that's what really ties it in and makes it fit well in the mixing space. Huge. Absolutely huge. And if we just go take a quick look at bus 3, I have a ridiculous amount of tracks in this project. We've got a main verb right here. This is our main verb chain. Ooh, yeah, there's more. So we've got this one, that's our reverb. Chain with 3, 2.4 seconds. Cut off the low end there. And this is where we get really creative. Really technical. So I've actually sidechained the reverb to the actual synth, which means it stops the reverb from mudding up the mix because the reverb will actually duck when the synth's playing, which gives just a much cleaner sound. Some more EQ over here. Cut off some of the high mids because I want the reverb really just to be on the sides, and I want that mid space reserved for the actual lead itself in that frequency range. And again, cut off some of the sides in the low end just to stop it getting muddy. Final EQ, just because I love EQs, it's not actually doing anything at all. And then we compress it because of the way it's sidechained to the kick. I'm talking about the synth. Because of the way the synth is sidechained to the kick, it means the compressor fully releases when the kick stops playing and gets really loud and sends up this huge wall of reverb like that. And so I've had this compressor here just to tame that in certain sections of the song. So that literally is it. That's how we made the lead synth for Yeah the Boys. Have any questions, just hit me up. If you want to know how I made these ones, well, you know what? I might just be a little bit cheeky and I'll show you right now. Take a screenshot. I'm not going to walk you through it. That's the other setting. So that's the one we just made, right? That's the one we just made. Second one was actually a Serum Cashmere preset, which I modified a little bit in the effects over here to get a different sound. So that was the mono layer. And then the wizard layer, I just listened to wizard a shit ton of times until I sort of copied the synth. Sort of sounds like this. And it's just another silent patch there as well. I made from scratch. Take the screenshots. There we go. That's it. Alright, so that is how I made the lead synth for Yeah the Boys. If you have any more questions, hit me up. Stay fresh, my dudes. I'll see you later. Yeah the Boys.